This story begins centuries ago near the Mexico and Texas border. This woman was accused of practicing devil magic, and they decided that they were going to end her for being a witch. Now, she had been accused of being able to transform into an owl. So she promised to curse the villagers. So ever since then, the Lechuza is what they call her. She's known as a witch who's able to turn into an owl. So a lot of times the legend is, if you see an owl like on top of the house, or you see an owl appear, you may hear people say, oh, it's the Lechuza. She's known to bring death. The legend also says that she used to kidnap children, and she had been accused of doing that when she was still alive, besides her devil magic. So I first heard of the Lechuza back when I was in high school. So me and my friends, we were traveling down a road in Texas called Pearsall Road in San Antonio, and we were all in the car. There was 4 of us. I was in the front seat and somebody else was driving, and we had 2 passengers in the back seat. What ended up happening was we saw something in the road, and it looked like it was a person sitting in the road. But as we got closer, it looked like they were sitting like in the middle of the road, and it looked like they were wearing a black long coat. So as we got closer and we slowed down, it turned around, and it wasn't a person at all. When it turned around, it spread what we thought was the coat. It was wings. It spread out like about 15 feet wide. It was so huge, and we all got quiet. It seemed like everything got quiet, even the music that we had on the car. Everything seemed to go silent, like we were deaf. And it lifted its wings and it flew up in the air, and it looked at us, and it looked like the face of an old woman on this huge creature. Once our shock had passed, somebody in the back seat said that that was the Lechuza. Now, I didn't know what that was. I was like, well, what is that? That's when somebody told me that it's a witch, and that usually it's like an omen to see her because she brings death. But when we got to the house, somebody in the house was inside, and they were blessing the house like with holy water. And I was like, what's going on? And she said that the neighbor was the Lechuza. And I thought, well, why would you suddenly say this? Something that I've never heard of. You're talking about the Lechuza, something that we had just seen, and nobody told her that we had just seen it. And I asked her, like, why are you saying the neighbor is a Lechuza? And she said because she had seen the winged owl creature fly into the neighbor's backyard. And then she said she went over there to go look, and she looked over the fence, and the neighbor was there, and that she was hanging her clothes. And she thought, it's her. She thought the neighbor was the Lechuza. So you see, these are the things of when legends are born. Much like centuries ago when somebody thought that that woman was the Lechuza. Now, was she? Because how did we just happen to see her? And by the time we drove home, which was like blocks down, how did she end up in the next house over? Whether coincidence or not, somebody has said that they've seen the owl at somebody's house, and then sure enough, like within days, the person that's in that house passes away. Now, she is described as being half human and half bird, or half owl. Some people say that she transforms into the owl because she's a witch. She's known to lure people away, lure them outside by pretending to be a baby crying, or even whistling outside, and the person's like, what's that noise outside? And they're going outside to go investigate. So if you happen to hear something that sounds like a baby crying, don't go outside. Other stories you may hear about the Lechuza, one of them is that she was the parent of some children that were accidentally killed by a drunk driver, and that she sold her soul to the devil to exact revenge. She's known for causing car accidents of drunk drivers, which makes me really wonder, because what we saw on the road, that would have caused somebody to swerve if they were not in all their 100% senses. Because when we saw it, I mean, we slowed down coming up to it, But somebody who's just not paying attention, somebody who's impaired, may not see it till the last minute. And when she flew up and you saw that face, I mean, it was shocking. Now, it's very common that people, when they see an owl, that they do get frightened, and they do know the legend of the Lechuza. She usually means death. In some legends, it's told that she would pick up children and steal them because of her craving for blood. The legend is that you can protect yourself or your loved ones by making the sign of the cross. Some people say you should put salt around your house, salt along your doorways, salt along the windowsills if you happen to see her, because that keeps her out of your house. What was very unusual to me is I had heard a similar story when I was back in high school. They said that they had gone out to a party late at night, and when they were driving home, they were passing the cemetery when they saw the exact same thing I saw. Something was in the road, and when they approached it, it spread its wings and it flew over their car. They heard it. They kept thinking they heard the flapping wings. So my friend, once she got home and she went inside, she told her friends, just go home, just be safe, get home. So when she was there alone, once she was alone and everybody had left, she was just frightened from the sounds that she was hearing outside. She did keep hearing the baby crying. But lucky for her, she had been warned way back from her grandma that told her the legend. Don't go outside if you hear it. Don't go outside if you hear a sound and it sounds like a baby crying. She did the only thing she knew how to do. She put a line of salt by the door, line of salt by every window, and she went to her room and she put salt all the way around her bed in a line because she was so terrified. Because supposedly she only comes out at night. So if you make it to the daytime, you're safe. Don't go walking home at night late all by yourself intoxicated, because she's known to carry away intoxicated full-grown men. So remember, if you want to be careful, you want to stay safe, you best get superstitious.